There is a specific kind of silence. Not the silence of an empty room. The silence that happens after you've posted something, after you've said something funny in the group chat, after you've sent the text that took you 4 attempts to phrase casually. The silence after you've been seen by 300 people and felt nothing. That silence has a name in psychology. We'll get to it. But first, I want you to notice something. Right now, today, you are more reachable than any human being in the history of our species. Your voice can hit another person's pocket in under a second. Your face can appear on a screen in Manila, in Toronto, in a bedroom 4 blocks away, instantly. And yet loneliness, by nearly every metric we have, is rising, not falling, rising. How does that happen? How do we build the most connected civilization that has ever existed, and somehow end up further apart than the humans who lived in actual physical isolation, separated by oceans and mountains and war? This isn't a story about phones being bad. You've heard that story already, and frankly, it's too simple to be true. This is a story about something stranger, about what happens when the brain system built to reward you for real connection gets hijacked by something that only looks like connection. This is the story of the performance of being seen. To understand what's broken, we have to go back to what worked. For most of human history, being looked at by another person was rare, costly, and meaningful. A glance held weight because glances were finite. Attention was the most expensive thing one person could give another, because giving it meant time, and time was the only currency that couldn't be faked. Your brain evolved a reward system around this scarcity. Dopamine, the chemical everyone loves to blame and almost nobody understands, was never built to make you feel good. That's a myth. Dopamine was built to make you seek. It's not the reward chemical. It's the anticipation chemical. It fires before the good thing happens, pulling you toward it, and then quiets down once you have it. In the old world, that system was beautifully matched to its environment. You'd see someone you cared about after days apart, dopamine would spike in anticipation. And then, when you actually sat with them, talked, laughed, a different system took over. Oxytocin, serotonin, the slow-burning chemistry of actual bonding. The dopamine did its job and stepped aside. The seeking system and the belonging system worked in sequence. Seek, then arrive. Want, then have. Somewhere in the last 15 years, that sequence broke. Here's what nobody tells you about your phone. It isn't designed to make you feel connected. It's designed to make you feel almost connected forever. Every notification is a tiny anticipation spike. Dopamine fires. You check. But here's the cruel architecture. The checking rarely delivers what the seeking promised. A like is not a conversation. A view count is not a witness to your life. A ha-ha reaction is not someone sitting across from you, watching your face while you tell a story that matters to you. So the seeking system fires again, and again, because it was never satisfied, only interrupted. Psychologists who study behavioral addiction describe this as a variable reward schedule, the same mechanism that makes slot machines compelling. You don't know which scroll will deliver the good post, the validating comment, the message from the person you're hopping hears from. So you keep pulling, not because you're weak, because you're human, and this mechanism would hook almost anyone. Think about a woman we'll call her Mara, and her experience belongs to thousands of people, which is exactly why it matters. Mara has 1,100 Instagram followers. She posts a photo from a hiking trip. Within an hour, 94 likes. A handful of comments, gorgeous, goals, a fire emoji. For about 6 minutes, Mara feels good, genuinely good, seen. Then the feeling drains, the way carbonation goes flat. And what's left underneath it? The thing the dopamine spike was covering is the same quiet ache that was there before she posted. Maybe louder now, because for 6 minutes she remembered what not feeling it was like. This is the part almost nobody says out loud. Validation that arrives without context doesn't fill the hole. It can't, because the hole isn't shaped like attention, it's shaped like being known. And those are not the same thing. They have never been the same thing. We've just built a civilization that makes it incredibly easy to confuse one for the other. Here's where it gets darker and more honest. When connection becomes performance, something subtle happens to the self. You start, almost without noticing, to live two lives, the one you're having and the one you're narrating while you have it. A sunset stops being a sunset. It becomes content. A laugh with a friend becomes something half-felt because part of you is already framing the story you'll tell about it later. This is sometimes called the observer effect on the self, and it has a quiet cost. The part of your brain doing the performing and the part of your brain doing the living start competing for the same limited attention. And performance, because it's rewarded faster and more visibly, usually wins. Over months, over years, people describe a specific kind of exhaustion that has nothing to do with sleep. A flatness, a sense of going through the motions of their own life. Therapists increasingly hear some version of the same sentence from people who are, by any external measure, thriving. I don't know why I feel like this. Nothing is wrong. I just feel like I'm watching myself from outside. That's not weakness. That's the nervous system trying to tell you something underneath the noise. The connection you're getting isn't the connection you need. And here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. This isn't an accident of technology. It's not a side effect. The systems that deliver these flat, almost satisfying hits are tuned, deliberately, continuously, by people whose job is to keep you seeking, because a brain that's fully satisfied closes the app. A brain that's almost satisfied keeps scrolling. You are not failing to connect. You are succeeding, perfectly, at a system built to make you feel close enough to connection that you never stop reaching for the real thing in the wrong place. Act 4. What the brain actually wants. So what does the brain actually want? What would close the loop? Researchers studying loneliness, real, clinical, measurable loneliness, keep landing on the same finding, and it's almost embarrassingly simple. The nervous system calms down in the presence of sustained, undivided attention from another person. Not an audience, a witness. One person fully there for longer than 6 seconds. This is why a single 2-hour conversation with an old friend can leave you feeling more restored than 100 scrolls through a feed showing you thousands of people. Quantity of contact and quality of being known are almost unrelated variables. We've just built our entire digital world around optimizing the one that doesn't actually heal anything. There's a quiet kind of grief in realizing this. Grief for the version of you that spent years pulling the lever, hopping the next notification would be the one that finally felt like enough. It never was going to be. Not because you were doing it wrong, but because no version of enough exists inside a system engineered to never let you arrive. So go back to that silence. The one after the post, after the message, after you've been seen by 300 people and felt nothing. That silence isn't empty. It's actually the most honest moment in the entire cycle, the brief gap where the performance drops and you can feel, clearly, WH a TS Chinese letter, a CTU a LLY underneath. Most of us learn to fill that gap as fast as possible. Another scroll, another post, another reach for the lever. But what if, just once, you let the silence stay a little longer? Because somewhere underneath the performance, there is still a person who knows the difference between being watched and being known, between an audience and a witness, between the chemical promise of connection and the real, slower, harder thing that actually heals. You didn't lose the ability to feel that difference. You were just given, every single day, 1,000 tiny reasons not to notice it. Notice it anyway. That's where it starts.